I just get surprised more and more every single day of the lengths that our Scottish MPs will go to just be absolute authoritarians. Like you can tell they love it. You can tell it's like picture a Karen like mixed with picture a Karen, but this Karen has like an unironic desire to become Stalin. That is what a lot of the SNP MPs are like. I mean, we've spoken about Hamza Yusuf an awful lot, who is just dying to control what everyone can and cannot say. Basically, Hamza Yusuf is when, yeah, screw your human rights. Someone on Twitter said something mean to me, right? So, screw the human rights of 6 million people. Here's a law where you can be arrested for things you say in your own home. But now it's went even further because a Scottish SNP MP, Ian Blackford, or Blackfud, as everybody calls him, the guy's a complete idiot, actually, like, called someone out like he was stalking. Bless me. He was stalking Twitter, looking for people that were violating lockdown. Like, you're not a police officer, Ian. You're not a police officer. Why are you doing it? Did you want that little dopamine hit from calling someone out on Twitter? But honestly, and obviously after he did it, people weren't very happy about it. And of course, Nicola Sturgeon defended him. Nicola Sturgeon has praised the grace and dignity of Ian Blackford after he was accused of bullying and acting like a vigilante. The First Minister defended the SNP's Westminster leader after he was forced to apologise for wrongly accusing a photographer of breaking COVID lockdown rules. Mr Blackford had to delete a tweet in which he demanded a valid reason for Ollie Taylor posting images of the Northern Lights taken in Caithness given travel restrictions. Now basically this was a guy that took a picture of the Northern Lights. It was a beautiful picture. It was very lovely. It was, Northern Scottish scenery. Oh, I'm going there next year. I'm going there. I actually have a plan where I'm going to round up a few Scottish YouTubers, and we're going to do the Northern 500. Obviously, once all the lockdown's off, that's a plan that I've had in place. I think it's going to be me and Tailed Feature and whoever else wants to come along. Really, we're going to actually take a few weeks to do the whole Northern 500, and we're going to visit historical sites, and I'm going to be all microphoned up, and I'm going to do jokes and stuff, but I'm going to actually give you all a history lesson. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while. I think it's going to be me, Tailed Feature, and a few others. But then COVID happened, and it was supposed to be this year. I had it all arranged for it to happen this year, but hey ho, thanks China. Where was I even? The Sky MP wrote, "As you live in the south of England and travel to Scotland is only for permitted reasons. I am sure there will be a valid reason as to why you're posting a photo from the north of Scotland last night." It's just as the thing is funny, like, it's an SNP MP, and you can literally like hear it, even though it's a tweet. As you live in the south of England. it's just like, oh, filthy Anglo. Filthy Anglo. I mean, that's the thing is, like, I do that stuff as a joke. The SNP mean it whenever they say that. I mean, even just this year, there was a bunch of SNP voters, like pro-independence guys, that literally camped out on the English border, and when English people were trying to come into Scotland, they were turning them around and telling them to go back to where they came from. And all the SJWs and stuff had no idea what to do in that situation because the people they were turning away were all white. All white English people. Fun. Although Mr. Taylor had previously lived and worked in England, here's the beautiful thing. Here's the beautiful thing about the photographer. Although Mr. Taylor had previously lived and worked in England, he moved to the Highlands earlier this year, and the images were taken 5 minutes from his house. So, so that's the thing is, Ian Blackford obviously went through this guy's profile, went down all of his tweets to find any indication of where he lived. Right, but he obviously scrolled to earlier this year, found some evidence that he lived in the south of England, and went, got him. Time to retweet and get that dopamine hit. Time to be a Karen, Ian. Well, like, and then it turns out that no, the guy actually lives in the Highlands. He lives in the area. It's 5 minutes from his house. No lockdown rules broken at all. Ian Blackford absolutely humiliated himself. And this is the thing that is hilarious. It's what the photographer said. Now, a lot of you know that the SNP are trying to push through the hate crime bill, but I'm calling it the anti-human rights bill because it's a law that literally allows the police and the government to violate your human rights, your human right to freedom of speech for simply causing offence. And one of the caveats in it is stirring up hatred. Now, what is stirring up hatred? Can you define it? They can't even define it. They've not defined it in the legislation. It's such a wide grey area, and as we always say, the courts, the cops, the government, they love a grey area because they can bend it to their will and arrest whoever they want. But the photographer here, he accused Mr. Blackford of trying to stir up public hatred against him. Well done, Mr. Taylor. You used their own logic against them. That is superb. That is absolutely superb. I'm buying you a pint. And that's the thing that's funny is the SNP have no idea what to do with that. Because they're literally trying to pass a law that makes that very thing illegal. You've just stirred up hatred against me. And according to the law, that's up to 7 years in prison. Oh dear, Blackford. Oh dear. Don't worry, Blackford. Going to prison for something that you said. I mean, it's your party that's kind of created that situation. So you know what? I was going to make a wee nice comment there, but no, I don't pity you. You reap what you sow. You made your bed, lie in it. Sorry, you made your bunk bed, lie in it. You'll probably be a bottom bunk type of guy. At Holyrood, Liberal Democrat MSP Alex Cole-Hamilton asked Miss Sturgeon about the incident. He said the balanced and proportionate enforcement of travel restrictions by Police Scotland is vital to ensuring compliance with them. That duty is theirs and theirs alone. Yes, it is the police's job to enforce the law, even if we believe the law is stupid. But the First Minister will have seen the disgraceful tweet from Ian Blackford to his 100,000 followers last night, singling out and bullying a private citizen who had relocated here from England. Does she support vigilante action from her MPs like this? And what steps is she taking to address Mr. Blackford's behaviour? Now, this is the thing is, when you analyse the whole situation, Blackford screwed up. Blackford royally screwed up. And this is the thing as well, is even if the photographer did travel up from the south of England, what business is it of Blackford's? He's not a police officer. It's not his job to enforce the law. It's his job as an SNP MP to pass stupid authoritarian laws, but it is not his job to enforce them. Miss Sturgeon said people watching on TV would not have had that at the top of the list of things they wanted to discuss in Parliament. That was her attempt to fudge off the question. I want to know. I want to know, Nikki. I want to know. Like, what steps are you taking to address Blackford's behaviour? Most people watching on TV, I think you'll find the people at home watching this don't actually care about the answer to your question. Answer it anyway. I want to know. I do. A lot of people wanted to know, actually, Nicola. She went on, I also saw Ian Blackford apologise for doing something he recognised he shouldn't have done on Twitter, and I think that's the right thing. When people get something wrong, to readily apologise for it. You mean like the Salmond inquiry? Well, have you apologised for that yet, Nikki? I don't think you have. Maybe I'm wrong. But what about that hospital that's a giant money sink? The one that was supposed to be open 3 years ago. But the ventilation system still doesn't even work. Oh, the SNP are great at failing. That's the grace and dignity that I associate with Ian Blackford every single day of the week. So there you go. You have it here. The SNP and their leader and our, unfortunately, First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, thinks that acting like a Karen on Twitter over stuff that is none of your business is acting with grace and dignity. Oh, I can't wait until the SNP are gone. In his apology to Mr Taylor, Mr Blackford said, "As the local MP for Ross, Skye and Lochaber, I know my constituents feel very strongly about the breaking of travel restrictions that we see across the Highlands and Islands, which puts people's lives and our public services at risk." I think the general sentiment, at least from literally every single person that I have spoken to, they hate the travel restrictions, they hate the lockdown, they despise it, and they don't feel that it works. I'll be completely fair. I've met 2 people who agree with the lockdowns, but those are 2 people that work from home, and they haven't had their livelihoods absolutely destroyed. Also, one of the funny things as well is because Scotland makes so much money from the tourism industry. I think it was the Scottish government got a 200 million big sack of cash to protect small businesses, and they gave all of it to the hospitality industry. None of it to anywhere else. All of it went to hospitality because they know the money that they make from tourism. All the other little family businesses, nah, they didn't get a penny. Because the SNP doesn't care. I will continue to stand up for my constituents who frequently raise these concerns with me, but I recognise that it was wrong to query an individual on Twitter, and I apologise to @OllieTPhoto for my earlier post, which I have deleted. Mr Taylor does not live in Mr Blackford's constituency. Lucky him. Tory MSP Annie Wells said, "It was pretty cowardly that the First Minister didn't do the right thing this afternoon and call out the SNP's Westminster leader for harassing a private citizen." Absolutely correct, Miss Wells. Ian Blackford should be ashamed of himself. He purposefully went after an individual who simply wanted to share a lovely photo on Twitter for people to enjoy. I'd advise you go look at the photo. It's a beautiful photo. I love it. The scenery of my country. The scenery of my country is stunning. I love the scenery in my country. I'm afraid it's the same old story with the SNP. Stoke up division, and when challenged, simply holding their hands up, feigning ignorance. It's pathetic. Yes. Jesus Christ. she is not holding back. Scottish Lib Dem leader Willie Rennie added, "Ian Blackford has formed for his remarks about people from England who happen to be in Scotland. This behaviour could only add to the problems of anti-English sentiment in Scotland." And of course the SNP, they never do wrong. They never do anything wrong. They'll never... We need another party in Scotland. One that can actually start holding these childish authoritarians to account.